Hello and welcome again to these beautiful bronze halls, where we will talk about DPS this time. My tank video should be up, and same type of tier list, this time looking at the DPS. Now, disclaimer here, DPS is a weird one in the lowest of the lowest ranks, because rather than survivability alone, where there definitely is merit for that, um, the biggest contributing factor for this particular tier list is going to be ease of play versus value received. And it's very important that both are taken into context together. It'll be obvious when we go through. So, we want to talk about DPS. Let's start with our good old Ashe. She is a good DPS. She is actually a great DPS, but she is reasonably skill intensive to play. And even though Bob is an amazing ultimate that can compensate for a bad Ashe by themselves, I should know I am a bad Ashe myself, and Bob does so much work for me. He really tries his best to do something when I ask. Um, but yeah, she doesn't ever really get free wins, which is what keeps her in yes rather than choo choo. By comparison, though, right now at least, Bastion in the lower tiers is choo choo as hell. As long as you know when to use your turret form and who to aim your turret form at, you're gonna get so much value. The turret form is so powerful. They've kind of made the grenade a bit better, a bit worse in other ways, but it's a decent tool. It gets kills, um, and his left click is no joke either. So absolute value. He is reasonably tracking intensive, and there is a lot of variability in his turret form because it's not super consistent from a long distance. But overall, for the amount of effort you have to put in, you get massive amounts of values. So choo choo tier Bastion, well done. Cassidy, no surprise, reasonably skill intensive, and because every shot counts, he's a good pick, but he's not a free win. His Grav grenade does, however, giving him an upper edge, and you know what? Just because of how much mobility is going to be going around, I'm going to put him in choo choo tier, but only with the disclaimer that, and I'm afraid I can't put an asterisk anywhere, but only the disclaimer. I'm putting him in choo choo tier because of what he brings to the table rather than his character himself. His actual damage is difficult to get. You need to aim a lot, and his ult is a little underpowered right now. But if you know how to use it, it will net you free wins though. And that grenade, however, is very powerful. Um, Echo, very powerful pick, quite niche, and because of the requirement of knowing so many other playstyles, I think, yeah, we'll just leave her at yes. She's powerful if you can play her, but because of how much you're required to know how to do, we're going to leave her at yes. She won't get you free wins, but with enough work, she will get you good wins though. And now we get to introduce the 0 or 100 category. No surprise, of course, Genji being one of the higher skill ceiling heroes in the game. Very difficult to get value on, but very strong in a very competent hand. And I feel that that is reflected at the lower ranks completely. The level of a good player versus a bad player is leagues apart, and if you can play him, GG. You've just won your game, more than likely. I can't tell. Then this is not comprehensive by any means. There's so much variance going in here, but overall, I'd say he's a niche pick with very inconsistent results, which unfortunately is true for his brother as well. Um, so the reason Hanzo is here should be obvious to most players who've either played against or played as Hanzo, but as much as we hate to admit it, luck does play a factor. Obviously, we know from other better Hanzo players that it is absolutely possible to dominate with him, but we're talking bronze, remember this. We're talking bronze, and at bronze, you're either going to be the one getting all the headshots, or you're going to be getting maybe one headshot in five, and that's sometimes just not good enough. Believe me, I know. So, after having tried to main Hanzo for a season, I can definitely say that he's difficult to get value on, and at the lowest ranks, especially, the difference in skill is so high. Not to say he's a bad pick, but he's not a free win getter, unlike Junkrat. Unfortunately for everyone, the rat is still as powerful as ever, bringing junk games along with it. Sadly, sometimes. Very difficult to balance. I think they did an okay job with the mine and all the different sizes of the explosions. Um, Nevertheless, though, while you can absolutely tell the difference between a skilled Junkrat and somebody who's only picking Junkrat, like myself, because they can't aim to save a life, um, you're going to be getting value. You're going to be seeing a lot of tanks come up in your face this season. He can deal with that. There's more than likely going to be many shield tanks on defense. He can deal with that to some degree. And if you can catch somebody off guard, that's a free win right there. Choo choo tier. May. May. So I'm tempted to put her in choo choo tier right now as well. Um, to be honest, it really is just because the amount of value she gets right now is insane. Mobility is key this season. She counters that so hard. She is great to deal with those pesky Doomfists and ball players. She gets up in the grill of, you know, Roadhogs and Reinhardts like it's nobody's business. Her survivability as well is super important to playing her well and to getting value with her. The fact that you're not as reliant on finding health packs as well as your supports is so good. And reverting her gun back to the old way and back to the baseline of 100. Uh, yeah, our Ice Queen is powerful, and she will remain there for the time being, I think. So if you can play her even a little bit, you'll get consistent value, in my personal opinion. Which brings us to Farah, and I want to put her in yes tier. She is super powerful, but she's still a danger pick. She really is. You have to have so much map knowledge and understanding of your weapon, your projectile. Honestly, it's quite difficult to do good on her. Really, really in the low levels. Again, like especially if you get a pocket and you get your shots, you're gonna get consistent value. But she really is at a disadvantage, I think, in a lot of matchups. And if you don't have that like proper map and spatial awareness, you're not gonna get as good value on her. But if you do, take her. She will net you wins. They won't be free. They won't be choo choo, but you'll get there. Reaper. I'm so sorry, but your boy Reaper is S tier. He is free wins at the moment. Um, yeah, so he wrecks supports in a one-on-one matchup, and he wrecks tanks in a one-on-one matchup. If he can do good in a support matchup, he can take a DPS. And obviously, he isn't, you know, zero effort, even though pressing Q is not a skill issue at all. But no, with tanks being super mobile, expect a lot of dives, expect a lot of people up in your face And who better to deal with people up in your face than essentially the best shotgun wielder in the game? Reaper is free wins right now. Grab them while they're free. Sojourn. So I am debating between these two. She's powerful. She gets a lot of value, but it isn't quite free. Um, I think compared to Ash, Echo, and Farah here, I think we can probably say it is free wins. She's been nerfed enough that she's not problematic, but she is still so fucking powerful. Absolutely choo choo tier. Your boy Soldier, absolutely choo choo tier. No questions asked. They nerfed his healing. I kind of expected this to come around the moment they started nerfing all the cooldowns of the other supports. So nerfing his healing pad was absolutely in the running. But other than that, I mean, at bronze especially, you'll use maybe sometimes one less cannon per team fight. Most of the time, you're either going to get rolled or you roll, so you're not going to notice the 2 seconds too much. But niche scenarios will definitely show up. I have felt to the 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Um, it's significant enough, but his kit is essentially unchanged, and he is, in my opinion, probably the poster boy for getting value for amount of effort. Him and Bastion probably are tied for getting value for least amount of effort. Our Lady Sombra, absolute choo-choo tier right now. Mobility, she has it. Damage, she has it. Invisibility, and the ability to just pop up out of nowhere, get a kill, and fuck off. She has it. Yeah, no, her rework was very good. They did a good job. She absolutely is free wins right now. She does take a bit of adjusting if you're used to the old Sombra. So you're not going to get free wins right away. But more or less, yeah, free wins. Go get 'em, girl. I'm sad that I have to put our Symmetra in Yes tier rather than Choo Choo tier because I think Symmetra has the ability to steamroll, but she has to work quite hard for it. That's the only reason I'm keeping her in Yes tier. And Torb as well. Torb is powerful, but most of the time you're really just doing it for the turret. They've made his can't remember what it's called, but his E, his shield one, the one that also recovers a couple of bullets, they made it a bit better. Didn't really think he needed it, but his projectile shooting, while it is balls to the wall insane sometimes, and you can just melt tanks, for example. Then if you can melt a tank, you don't even want to know what you're doing to 200 HP targets. But it's not free. You do have to work hard. And funnily enough, at bronze, one of the most key things is because of the arc of his projectiles, his height actually makes it really hard to get consistent value on him early. Um, I, you know what? We're just gonna bump him down to 8. Now, this is also a very massive asterisk. He is powerful. His turret will win you games on its own. But we're tailoring to bronze, and the amount of things you're not immediately aware of that Torb has to deal with, like his height and his projectile arc, as well as the fact that everybody and their mother is killing the turrets, which I'm happy to say is happening more uh, on Torb turrets at least. Not so much Symmetra turrets I have in my experience, but either way, strong pick. He just he's not consistent, and relying just on your turret to carry you isn't enough. I tried it. It's not great. It's not great. In combination with other turrets, though, that's a different story. But we're talking about them in a vacuum, which brings us to Tracer. And oh boy, I'm tempted to put our girl right here because Tracer is powerful. The half half a point of damage that they gave her back to her gun is actually more significant than it seems, even at bronze. Like at the high levels, that shit matters. At bronze, not so much. But significant, and she has been decent always. High mobility this season means flankers have it easy, but she still really is a coin flip sometimes. Um, the inconsistency between good and bad players is so large. The gap is massive, and that isn't a criticism. Again, please do note this. I'm not trying to criticize people who play them well or poorly. It's just a matter of trying to get consistent value for the least amount of effort possible, and she takes a lot of effort to play well. So, um, anticlimactically, we're finding both of our last DPS also in the 0 to 100 category. Widow very much is a DPS that can dominate the lobby, but she does have to work really hard for it. The aiming is not super straightforward. And the fact is, the moment you pick Widow and you start shooting at people, you are public enemy number one. And a, other than aim, of course, a good or a bad Widow are going to be differentiated by how little they are forced to move and how they deal with being targeted. So I feel that with so much inconsistency going around in the bronze ranks, Widow is just such a either 0 or 100 pick. Hey, if you can play her and you dominate lobbies, you do you. But don't tell me that they're easy wins because you're working real hard. And that's what we're all about, right? Trying to work smart, not hard. Well, as far as I can tell, that covers all of the DPS, which only leaves us left with the supports. And oh boy, am I looking forward to that one, since as a support main, I have so much to say on the matter, but I'll try to keep it short. Thank you in any case for watching. Hopefully you've agreed with me on some of these things. If not, let me know in the comments below. Have a good day. Bye!